one power, invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power, indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth. As simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power.
Good morning and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Midtown, Atlanta. Such is the nature of life that all it asks and all it wants is for the opportunity to appear. You are that opportunity, and so am I, and so it is. Whoever you are, whatever brought you here today, please know that you are welcome and celebrated. We know you are. We know who you are. You are an individualized expression of the divine life in which we all live. You are life's opportunity to be someone unique and wonderful. Whatever your ethnicity, background, religious affiliation, however you know yourself, describe yourself, your pronouns, your gender identities, we are glad you're joining us here today. You're welcome to be a part of this community in whatever way serves you. We can say our vision statement because we are a strong, open, globally connected community centered on the clarity of principle through teaching, service, and practice. We create a safe and respectful environment that supports a healthy spiritual growth. And now I'd like to share Ernest Holmes' statement of what we are.
A few of the declaration of principles we live by.
I believe in one God, one absolute power, and first cause to all things.
I believe that this power is perfect love, and it creates out of a desire to express love.
I believe all thought is creative, and how I choose to think creates my personal experience.
I believe in the unity of all life, and the immortality of the individual soul forever unfolding.
I believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of God to all.
And so it is.
So grateful, hey.
And so it is. So Centers for Spiritual Living has practitioners, and a practitioner is someone who has demonstrated the ability to use spiritual practice and spiritual laws to bring about great changes in their lives. They've also demonstrated that they know how to bring these changes in others when asked. Licensed by Centers for Spiritual Living, they're able to provide you with spiritual guidance and support in areas where you might be looking for assistance. You can contact them through CSLMidtown.org, our website. And today we've got one of our wonderful practitioners with us to share good ideas and an affirmative prayer called the Spiritual Mind Treatment. Welcome, Norma Roberts.
Good morning to all, and thank you, Vince, for the wonderful introduction. Thank you so very much. To start off today, though, I would like to tell you a story. The story is about a man named Isaac. Isaac moved to a town and immediately reopened two wells that would really belong to him. However, the local politicians and city leaders quarreled over the wells. One of the wells he named Argument. When they quarreled over the wells, Isaac just gave up his rights to the wells. He walked away just letting the wells go. As I said, one of the wells he named Argument, and the other well he named Opposition. He knew he could have kept the wells, but it wouldn't be worth the argument, it wouldn't be worth the ongoing strife, turmoil, and conflict. So Isaac then dug a third well for himself, with which there was no conflict, and he named that one Room Enough, or Wide Open Spaces. The story is really about how often we get bogged down at the well of argument and opposition, trying to prove our point and convince others that we are right. There may be times when we need to just walk away, letting it go and let God make it up to us. Are you holding on to some old wells of disagreement or misunderstanding? Now is the time to walk away and allow the spirit of love to enter in. Holmes argues that love overlooks the little differences that we have and finds a point of reconciliation with others. Love creates tolerance and human understanding, without which we really become divided against ourselves and without which we almost unconsciously become filled with criticism, condemnation, and false judgment. So now, let us prepare for our morning prayer treatment, after which we will have reflection music. Close your eyes if you like and join me as I speak in the first person. Accept as much as resonates with you, letting go anything else. Join me in knowing there is but one life. That life is God. And that life is truly my life right here and right now. All power, presence, life, and love are God in its fullness. I open my heart and mind to conscious connection with the one life, and in so doing, feel His presence within and around me. My awareness expands, and I realize even more that it is what I am, and I am the revelation of that it is. I now rest in knowing of this divine eternal truth. I speak boldly and claim the highest and best I can conceive in this moment, knowing my word comes into expression even as I speak. I declare right now that life and death is in the power of the tongue as I release every situation, condemnation, or experience that may have held me bound. I know my strength is greater than in a struggle. I choose to be happy right now. I approve of myself and love myself deeply and completely. And I am a magnet of positivity. I claim perfect health and enjoy renewed energy and vitality. I state my expanding prosperity and watch my income, sharing, and investments grow. I discover loving friends by greeting everyone I meet with love and respect. My self-expression grows dramatically through my awareness of spirit filling my life with its presence. From a place of connection and deep knowing, I am one with a peace that passes all understanding. Regardless of the happenings around me, I rest in divine stillness. In stillness, there is power. The power of love, the power of God. And from this stillness, I know divine good for all and the whole universe rushes to support my word of truth. All matters of the world fall away as nothing. My mind ceases any chatter. My thoughts are still, and I simply am. I'm grateful for this truth and its perfect demonstration because I know the law has already done its work. And now I rest in the knowing that all is well, as together we say, and so it is. Namaste.
When you were born, your life's work was placed in your heart. And somewhere within, you've always known who you are. So don't let the world guide your life. Follow the voice deep inside your heart. And though the universe asked for your hand in this dance, you can still choose to go your own way. But if you choose to let go to the dance of your soul, you may find that you're more than you thought you were. And as you awake, your purpose will flow from your soul. And the life that you lead will serve to inspire us all. So don't let your doubt dim your light. Bring forth the greatness that hides inside. Though the universe asked for your hand in this dance, you can still choose to go your own way. But if you choose to let go to the dance of your soul, you may find that you're more than you thought you were. Oh, you are a part of the whole, and the world needs you more than you know. For if darkness should fall on the earth, it is you who'll be the light of the world. 'Cause when you shine, the world shines. Oh, you are a part of a great awakening. And though the universe asked for your hand in this dance, you can still choose to go your own way. But if you choose to let go to the dance of your soul, you may find that you're more than you thought you were. 'Cause when you shine, the world shines. For you are a part of a great awakening.
All right. It's my pleasure to introduce our speaker this morning. Reverend Dr. Robert Brzezinski holds a Master in Consciousness Studies from the Holmes Institute as a Doctor of Divinity from the Emerson Institute. He's an ordained minister of religious science and considers himself a lifelong student of transformational leadership. He's currently the spiritual and creative director of the New Thought Media Network and spiritual director for the Center for Spiritual Living Boulder Valley Teaching Center. He serves on the board of the directors for the affiliated New Thought Network and the executive board of the International New Thought Alliance. Dr. Robert is passionate about building spiritual community in the physical and virtual worlds. He's been answering calls to support individuals and organizations along the journey of enlightenment. He's a dynamic spiritual leader and passionate speaker a New Thought visionary. Welcome, Dr. Robert.
Thank you, Vance. Thank you. So good to see you again, and so good to be with the CSL Midtown community again. Many of you know I watch your program every week. I'm in tune with your speakers every week, often doing the editing for some of your programs in the after hours. And it's always fun to be with you and to be able to connect with you. So for those that are watching live, great to be with you. If you're watching it another time, glad you're seeing this. And if you're watching live, be sure to plan to join us for the Zoom conversation that follows this immediately. I think it's become an old joke now with ministers that we provide talk titles and information sometimes months in advance and promptly forget about what it is we said we would talk about until a few days, a week, maybe a few weeks before. That didn't happen with me this time. When I looked at the talk title for today, I knew right away. I didn't write that. Letting go. A new way of being together. And yet I love what the title says. And while there is plenty of information that has been provided for us as CSL ministers, Science of Mind ministers, as Centers for Spiritual Living, in information on how to approach this topic, well, y'all know me. I took a little bit of a different tack about it all. Took a little bit of a different approach. And I must say, I am no longer surprised at how the universe lines things up and puts things in order. I'm going to say it out loud. Reverend Norma, bless you. That was a prayer and a half and an important lesson altogether. Argument and opposition. I hear that little voice saying, remember, I do know that Norma's not necessarily, quote, quote, a reverend, but made me kick back and say reverend. There is a part in all of this where we all have the ability, every one of us, to come to that deep knowledge and that deep truth and that deep expression of prayer that Norma shared with us today. And truthfully, the story of the arguments and the opposition is exactly what I came up with to talk about. There is a time in front of us to let go. Yes. And what I've learned into over 20 years of the visioning process is that as we let go, we're also being very clear what it is that we are embracing and what we're holding on to. A couple of the quotes that were given to us today. One was very interesting. And as I looked at this material, this was inspired by Pema Chodron. And I took out the reference to the book because the quote we were given was not the original. And I don't know where the original started and where the new one began, but I rewrote pretty much all of it. So I'm just saying this is inspired by. But we have to face the truth that this is where we find ourselves. None of what we've learned seems very relevant when our lover leaves us, our child has a tantrum in the supermarket, when we're insulted by a colleague, when our Latinx neighbor disappears, when our gay and trans friends are being erased, when there's a modern day Anne Frank hiding in a basement somewhere in America? How do we reconcile that frustration and humiliation with our longing to be open and compassionate? This is an interesting place to find oneself. For the practitioner, this is an exceedingly important place. Those words kind of stung when I read them this week. And I'll leave it up to you to figure out which are Pima's words and which are my words and which were the interpretation that I was given. See, the truth is the truth, no matter how we say it, and truthfully, no matter who says it. And what I love about this quote is that we're not talking about a strict dogma of how we practice these principles. In communities all across the world, religious scientists have been teaching a traditional 5-step prayer, which gets expanded. And over time, some people have expanded it in one way or contracted it in another way. And what we know from history, truly from our history, is that Ernest Holmes himself never fully, truly used a boom, ba boom, ba boom, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, five-step prayer. That doesn't make that form of prayer invalid. If anything, it makes it a very astute, a very learned pattern or system that brings us to a truth. And I have never met someone that gives this an honest study, that gives the science of mind and therefore new thought an honest study, that doesn't go a bit beyond any one part of it. One of the other interesting quotes that they shared with us by Ernest Holmes: love overcomes both hate and fear. However, love does not overcome hate and fear through controversy, argument, or force, but by a subtle power of transformation, transmutation, and sublimation. It is invisible in its essence, but apparent through its act. As light overcomes the darkness, as the presence of heat causes the coolness of a room to change until it is warm and comfortable, so the radiant action of love and peace dissipates fear, hate, and confusion. You ever have a space heater that you forget to turn off overnight? You walk into that room in the morning and it's toasty warm. That the coolness of the outside air has not been able to permeate into the room because the warmth inside the room has created a bubble of truth, a bubble of protection, a bubble of understanding. We are all being called to do that same thing, to become a center of love. And I understand, because if you see me on social media, you might see me lose myself a little sometimes, slip out of my ministerial robes, as it were, and into the fray of the argument and the opposition. And when I do, it becomes painfully obvious that I have lost sight that there is room enough for everyone. I may not agree with, I may not understand, and I believe a mature expression of this philosophy brings us to a deeper place of room enough. So when I see a title like Letting Go, I ask that question, what am I supposed to let go of? And let's be real, people. This new thought philosophy, whether we come through the doors of science of mind, or we first learned of this through unity, or we first learned of this through divine science, or we're just now learning that divine science even exists or what it is, or whether we came through the door and found a healing. As we grow, as we continue to learn more about how all of this universal stuff works, and let's remember the immortal words of Johnny Coleman, it works if you work it. We got to work it. Now more than ever, we've got to work it. Because what we've been doing has brought us to where we are. Yeah, I know, everybody breathe. That's the interesting news. And that's the good news, because it is the opportunity. Remember, in this philosophy, we teach that we have the power to control the conditions through this mind, through the one mind, through God's mind that is individuated as each one of us. And so we each have the power to change the conditions within which we live. And if they're throwing arrows or insults or accusations, we have to listen to the advice of Ram Dass and throw back hearts. And I get it. There's so many more arrows to pick up and throw back than there might be that sense of capacity for love. But love we shall. Love we must. There can be no other way. Right now, we're going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying it. We stand, I believe, and when I use the word we, I mean all of New Thought, from Centers for Spiritual Living, religious science, independent religious science communities, unity communities, divine science communities, organizations, ANTN, INTA, AGNT, UFBL, CSL, Unity Worldwide Headquarters, Unity Ministers Association, Divine Science Ministers Association, Progressive Christianity. New Thought has become exactly what Ernest Holmes, or at least we believe, and what we say he wanted. In ministerial schools and classrooms across this country for the last 20 years, I've heard that refrain that Ernest never wanted churches. Ernest never wanted churches. Ernest never wanted churches. I can't tell you how many times I've heard Ernest never wanted churches. Okay. So why are we hanging on to having churches? If it works, okay. And don't get me wrong, people. I fully believe there will forever be churches. There will forever be community centers. There will forever be centers of unity and centers for spiritual living. And there will forever be places where people come together and congregate. And we have to let go of that being the primary delivery system for this philosophy, for how we use these principles. And please know that when I say how we use these principles, I do not mean just for ourselves. Over the last several months, it's really come to me that there is a growing distinction, and it's through the use of social media and other avenues, it's becoming increasingly apparent to me that there is a difference between a mature use of New Thought principles and those that are still coming in the door, those that are still learning, or perhaps those that got comfortable somewhere along the way. Another old joke, and this is going to be the subject of a new Substack that I'm writing, and I'm in the midst of writing this one right now. So you can look forward to more on this topic online next week. An old saying that as a good minister, we're here to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. In today's world, I think everybody is touched by some amount of suffering. I've jokingly said if it weren't for religious science, I'd probably be a Buddhist. Suffering is not mandatory, but it is the base of operations. It is how we come in the door. We come in with suffering of some form, whether we fully realize it and accept that or not. And whether we sit in the back seat for 4 weeks crying when we find this philosophy, or whether we sit in the front row cheering because we found this philosophy. And you know both of those people, right? I have been both of those people. And I have seen both of those people, because in that we are the oneness. And the oneness is not here to roll over and play dead. We're here to love. We're here as stewards of a great vibration and a great energetic impulse of love. To paraphrase Dr. Holmes in the Science of Mind textbook, when things look the darkest, that's the supreme time to do this work. To desert this work, to desert what we know as the truth in the hour of our greatest need. And I think that qualifies right now. To desert that truth is to prove we never knew the truth. Would you like to see an example of knowing the truth? Would you like to know what the truth is? Of course you would. Rewind this video back to Norma's prayer. Rewind it once we're done. Don't go yet. Once we're done, rewind this prayer back to rewind this video back to Norma's prayer, and there is the truth. And I bet if you ask, she'll sit down and share the truth with you too. I bet if you ask any of the practitioners, they'd be happy to sit with you and remember the truth of who you are. Because it is in that, it is in you embodying that truth, that we're here to serve humanity's evolution, that we can be a part of creating a world that works for all life, not just human life, not just my life. There is room enough for all, but everyone's got to take their space. Everyone's got to be part of what comes next. Nobody gets to sit on the sidelines, and no one gets to watch from the bleachers. If you are on the planet at this time, your consciousness is vital. Who you are, what you do, how you do it, in prayer, in action. Start a circle, start a discussion, show up at a meeting, hit the town council, run for office, vote, whatever it might be. Now more than ever, it is imperative that we are involved. And I believe today more than ever, to sit it out on the sidelines, to stick our head in the sand, is New Thought malpractice. It's malpractice. We cannot just spiritually bypass this away, people. We cannot just, oh, it's all good, and watch the suffering of our neighbors and our colleagues and our families, and watch as it happens right in front of us. And that's why this community is so important now more than ever. I have heard ministers across this great land shouting it from the rooftops over the past several weeks. Now more than ever, being in real, authentic, true community with each other, whether that's virtually, and please, as much as you can, get together in person. There is nothing like the vibration, nothing like the consciousness that is raised when a small group of individuals get together and do their work. And as one small group gets together with another small group, before you know it, we are a mighty group. The power of new thought transforms the world. Start with ourselves. Support and serve. Transform the organizations that we are a part of. And that's how we create a world that works for everyone. Join me in prayer. If you're in a safe enough place to close your eyes, I invite you to please do so as we step into a deep knowing that there is only one power, one presence, one infinite intelligence. Call it God or Buddha or Brahma or Yahweh or Vishnu, Kuan Yin, source energy, whatever you may call it. Recognize that oneness that is revealing itself as your life, as my life, as all of life. That one power, presence, and intelligence revealing itself as your word, as every part of who you are. And as I know that truth for your life, I know it's true of my life, of every form of life, creepy crawly creatures, furry creatures, winged creatures, scaly creatures, human creatures, alien creatures. From the microscopic to the absolute, it is all one. One love. One heartbeat. One life. That life is God's life, and that life is perfect. And so I invite each one that may hear these words, each one that may catch this vibe, each one that may tune into what's happening here, to take this in, to take in this vibration of love, of understanding, of compassion, of truth, and be willing to step out into our days, step out into the rest of this day, into all the days that are to come, as an expression of that love, as a vibration of that love. We are transceivers of love. We transmit it and we receive it. We receive it and we transmit it. It is an ever-growing cycle and an ever-growing spiral of love that we are bringing into this thing called life, bringing the divine love into human form. That is our mission. That is our work. We do that with our hearts, with our hands. We do that marching in the streets or writing to the editor. We do that through our vote. We do that through our consciousness and through our meditation. We do that through everything that we are. Not just Wednesdays and Sundays, but every day, every moment, we are the divine expressing itself. And I claim for each a deep reverence for that. A deep sense of reverence, knowing that it is sacred work we are about. Bringing the truth to light. Being the light. I'm so very grateful to be in this space of knowing, to be in this moment of awareness, of awakening. So very grateful to feel the vibration of yes, it is reverberating around, to know that everyone here is in one way or another aligned with their own greatness and is bringing that to form. And that is good and very good. So I release this word into that universal law that cannot be denied, that law that cannot return this word void. That universal law of creation that must take up this word and create, has no choice in the matter, must create. We release this word into that law and let it be, and witness the miracle. And so it is.
And so it is.
That's
Thank
all.
you.
Thank
Dr.
you.
All right. So now it's time for our conscious giving part of our celebration. We bring to you amazing speakers like Dr. Robert each Sunday, so you can share in that. And it's your opportunity to give, to support, to keep this going. And you've done that really well this last year, and we're continuing on with that. So you can donate at cslmidtown.org/donate. You can scan the QR code on your screen. It'll take you right there. You can do a one-time gift or set up an ongoing gift, and we appreciate it all. If you will now say with me our affirmation of prosperity. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me abundantly. And so it is. So a few announcements. As Dr. Robert indicated, we have a Zoom call right after this to have a discussion of his talk and whatever else anybody's got thinking. And next month's March. It's the beginning of the month. It's our first Sunday, so we meet in person and online, hybrid, and it's our annual meeting. So I invite you all to come participate, be with us, and at the Garden Hills Community Center in Atlanta. So come join us. The speaker is Reverend Jean Bell. She's coming back again. She's an awesome speaker. So come and join that, and then stay for our annual meeting and our potluck. Every Sunday, we've got a discussion group that starts at 10 a.m. on the Zoom. You go to cslmidtown.org/ and scroll down to the bottom. There's this link for the Zoom with a passcode that will get you into the meeting for that. It's a lively discussion, and they are talking about the Science of Mind textbook, going through that entire textbook, which is about this thick. So come join for that. Now, let's do our affirmation of life. I leave this place now knowing something better than I knew before. I go forth into the world with a heart full of love and a mind full of good sense. I look at the world in a greater way, knowing that I have within me everything I need to create the life I desire. I give thanks for this understanding, and I am grateful for the spirit of life that lives through me. And so it is. See you on Zoom. See you next week.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. Hey! Oh yeah. Grateful. I just say I am so grateful every day for all I have. Every day. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all I have. Every day I say it. Grateful. How I'm grateful. Every day. Oh yeah. I am so grateful. Oh yeah. I'm so grateful. 'Cause I accept and I receive. I am so grateful. Oh yes, I am. I am so grateful. Hey, grateful. I just count my blessings. Grateful. I just count my blessings.
There is a power for good in the universe greater than you are, and you can use it.